Hey everyone, John here, and I've got a story so raw and wild it'll grab you tight. You won't look away. Picture a little house in Rochester, Michigan on February 29th, 1956, and that's where Aileen Carol Pittman comes kicking into the world. It's a leap year baby, born to a mom who's barely a kid herself, Diane Wuornos, just 16, married 2 years to Leo Pittman, who's 18 and already a mess. Diane has Aileen's older brother Keith, born in 1955, and she's juggling two babies while Leo's spiraling, drinking, fighting, falling apart fast. By the time Aileen's a few months old, Diane's had enough. She splits from Leo, leaves him behind, and he's out of the picture for good. Later, he's locked up for kidnapping and sexual assault. A violent guy Aileen will never meet. He hangs himself in prison in 1969, but that's years down the road. So Diane's a single mom now, barely 17, and she's drowning. Two kids, no money, no help. In 1960, when Aileen is 4 and Keith is 5, Diane gives up. She packs them off to her parents, Lori and Britta Wuornos, in Troy, Michigan, about 20 miles north of Rochester. Lori and Britta take them in, adopt them legally, and Aileen has a new last name, Wuornos. But it's no cozy family scene. They're Finnish immigrants, tough folks who've scraped by, and they lean hard into the bottle. Lori has a temper that flares ugly. He's strict, beats Aileen and Keith when they step out of line, and whispers float that it's worse than that, maybe crossing lines no kid should face. Britta's too drunk or too broken to stop it, and Aileen is growing up fast in that house, wild-eyed, scrappy, and mad at the world. By the time she's 10 or 11, things are off the rails. She's trading favors with boys at school for cigarettes, candy, or a hit of something stronger, and folks in Troy start talking. She's a troublemaker, loud and rough, and when she's 14, in 1970, it gets heavier. She's pregnant. Nobody's sure who the dad is. Some say a family friend. Others whisper it's Keith, her brother, and that's a dark rumor that sticks. Diane's back in the picture, kind of, and Aileen is shipped to a home for unwed moms in Detroit. She has the baby, a boy, in March 1971, and gives him up quick, no looking back. When she gets home that spring, Britta's dead, liver failure from the drinking, though Diane swears Lori poisoned her, and Lori's had enough. He kicks Aileen out, says she's too wild, and at 15, she's on her own, sleeping in abandoned cars or the woods around Troy, hitching rides to nowhere. So she's a teenage runaway now, and she's surviving, hustling on the streets, picking up whatever she can to eat or stay warm. In 1972, she's drifting through Michigan, and by 1974, she's 18, thumbing her way west, lands in Jefferson County, Colorado, and gets nabbed for drunk driving. She has a .22 pistol, fires it from a car window, and cops haul her in. Disorderly conduct, a taste of trouble that's just starting. She's using fake names like Sandra Kretsch, dodging who she really is, and when Keith dies of throat cancer in July 1976, he's 21, she's back in Michigan for a minute. His life insurance drops $10,000 in her lap, and she's thrilled. Buys a car, some clothes, blows it all in 2 months, and wrecks the ride. So she's broke again, and that summer, she's hitching south, ends up in Florida, chasing sun or maybe just running. When she hits Daytona Beach, it's 1976, and she's 20, rough around the edges, living day to day. She's at a bar one night, and in walks Louis Fell, 76, rich, president of a yacht club, and he's smitten. They hit it off fast, marry in June 1976, and it's in the local papers, young bride, older groom, but it's a disaster from the start. Aileen's drinking hard, picking fights, and when she smashes a cue ball into a bartender's head in Antrim County, Louis is done. He gets a restraining order, and by September, the divorce is final. She's back on the streets, no anchor, and she's mad. Starts bouncing around Florida, working the highways, picking up men for cash along Interstate 75. Life's a blur now. Arrests stack up in the late 1970s and 1980s. She's caught with forged checks in 1977, busted for theft in 1979, and in 1981, she's in Edgewater, Florida, robs a store with that .22, pulls 3 months in jail. She's loud, volatile, and when she's out, she's right back at it, hustling, fighting, scraping by. By 1985, she's a regular on Florida's roads, blonde hair, hard eyes, picking up truckers and drifters, and she's got no patience for trouble. So in 1986, she's at a bar in Daytona, and that's when Tyria Moore walks in. 24, a maid, soft-spoken, and they click. They're a couple fast, tight, and messy, and they're living in cheap motels, trailer parks, anywhere they can crash. Tyria's working odd jobs, Aileen's bringing in cash from the streets, and they're pawning whatever they can. Stolen TVs, rings, anything to keep going. They're a team, and when things get rough, cops sniffing around, money tight, Tyria's the steady one, calming Aileen's storms. But Aileen's carrying something dark, rage from Troy, from Lori, from every guy who's crossed her, and it's simmering. In 1987, they're in a wreck. Peter Seam's car, stolen later, but this one's theirs, and Aileen's hurt, arm in a sling, mad as ever. She's got that .22 tucked away, and by 1989 it's boiling over. She's done taking risks with clients, says they're rough, dangerous, and she's not wrong sometimes. So on November 30th, 1989, she's in Clearwater, Florida, and picks up Richard Mallory, 51, owns an electronics shop in Palm Harbor, and they're driving off I-75. She says he tries to assault her, gets aggressive, and she pulls that gun, shoots him dead. Multiple rounds to the chest. She's rattled but quick, drags his body to a wooded spot in Volusia County, ditches his car 2 days later, and keeps his stuff. Wallet, watch, whatever's worth something. When she shows Tyria, they're both edgy. She says it's self-defense. He attacked her, and Tyria nods, but there's tension. They pawn his gear in Daytona, pocket the cash, and Aileen's not stopping. Says she's got to protect herself. Can't trust these guys. So the spree kicks off. May 19th, 1990. She's near Winter Garden, picks up David Spears, 47, a construction worker driving a pickup. They're off the highway, and she says he makes a move. She shoots him 6 times, leaves him naked in Citrus County woods, found June 1st. A week later, June 6th, Charles Carskadden, 40, a rodeo hand, meets her on I-75, and she pumps 9 bullets into him, dumps him in Pasco County. She's rolling now, and when Peter Seams, 65, a missionary heading to Arkansas, crosses her path in June 1990, she takes him out, shoots him, though his body's never found. His car is crashed later by 2 women, Aileen and Tyria, in Orange Springs. Witnesses spot them, but it's not enough yet. September comes, and Dick Humphreys, 56, an ex-cop turned investigator, picks her up. She shoots him 6 times, leaves him in Sumter County, found September 12th. November 19th, Walter Antonio, 62, a trucker, gets 4 bullets in Marion County. Bodies found quick, cars nearby. 7 men down in a year, and Aileen's telling Tyria it's all self-defense. Everyone tried to hurt her, she says, and Tyria's buying it, sort of. But the heat's rising. Cops are linking bodies by December 1990, all shot with a .22, all along Florida highways. And when they trace Mallory's pawn stuff to a Daytona shop, Aileen's thumbprint pops up, so January 1991 hits, and she's at the Last Resort Bar in Port Orange, biker joint, rough crowd, and on January 9th, Volusia County deputies grab her on an old warrant. They've got sketches from Seams's crash, blonde and a redhead, and Tyria's next. She's tracked to Pennsylvania, her sister's place in Pittston, and when cops bring her in January 11th, she cracks, tells them Aileen confessed all 7, says she was there for some, didn't stop it. They wire her up, get her calling Aileen in jail, and on January 16th, Aileen's done. She confesses to 6, seems unconfirmed, says they assaulted her, she had no choice. Trials set fast, January 1992 in DeLand, Volusia County, and it's huge. Mallory's case goes first. She's got public defenders, then switches to Steve Glazer, a private lawyer with a beard and a guitar, and the state's relentless. They've got Tyria on the stand, Aileen's taped confession, and on January 27th, the jury convicts, first-degree murder, death penalty handed down 3 days later. She pleads no contest to Spears, Carskadden, and Humphreys, gets death for each March 31st, and Antonio and Troy Burris, another trucker, shot August 1990, bring 2 more guilty verdicts, 6 death sentences total by June 1992. Tyria testifies, walks free, no charges, and Aileen's shipped to Florida State Prison in Stark, a concrete box where she's locked down. She's there a decade, appeals drag, sanity's questioned, and she's loud about it. Says cops let her kill to build a case, claims abuse in prison, and when the Supreme Court denies her last shot in 2001, she's ready, drops appeals, wants it over. Governor Jeb Bush signs off, and on October 9th, 2002, at 46, she's led to the chamber, lethal injection, 3 drugs, no fuss. She's wild to the end. Last words are, I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the rock and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th. And she's gone, 9:47 a.m. Her body's cremated, ashes sent to Michigan, scattered in Fawn River by a friend, Don Botkins, with Over the Rainbow playing. 7 confirmed kills, Mallory, Spears, Carskadden, Seams, Humphreys, Antonio, Burris, and maybe more unlinked. She's tagged America's first female serial killer, though Jane Toppin beat her by a century. Still, Aileen's the name that sticks, a highway phantom with a .22 and a story that's messy, brutal, and sad. She said it was survival. Men turn monsters, and when you dig into Troy, Laurie, the streets, you see where it brewed, but 7 dead's 7 dead. Her tales in books, movies, Charlize Theron's Monster wins an Oscar in 2004, and it's a question mark, victim or villain, maybe both. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.